We are in a weird transitional era right now where the massive projects we have been hearing about for half a decade are finally getting real release dates, and suddenly the PS5 schedule is looking absolutely terrifying. The long delays are mostly over, the engine switches are finished, and we are staring down the barrel of some of the biggest releases of the entire console generation. Hi folks, today on this video we're going to talk about some of the best upcoming PS5 games everyone is hyped to play. And we're starting off this list with Ballad of Antara. Okay, we have to start with the weird one, because I genuinely don't know how to handle this. Ballad of Antara was announced during the May 2024 State of Play. Looked like a free-to-play dark fantasy action RPG, Souls-inspired vibes, mysterious atmosphere, the whole thing. People were into it. It was supposed to drop sometime in 2025 as a PS5 exclusive. And then, nothing. No news, no updates, no delay announcement, just radio silence from publisher Infold Games and developer Tipsworks. Fast forward to January 2026, and reports started surfacing that the game had been quietly cancelled. Like, not even officially, just vanished. One day it was on the radar, the next day it wasn't. The rumored reason is a major restructuring at Paper Games, which owns Tipsworks, but there's never been an official statement. So why is this on the list? Because the hype was real before it disappeared. And honestly, enough people keep asking about it that we can't pretend it never happened. Consider this a eulogy for what could have been. If it comes back from the dead, great. If not, pour one out for the PS5 exclusive that got Thanos snapped before we ever really knew it. And next up, we have Halloween the game. You know, horror fans have been asking for a proper Halloween game for decades. Not some cheap mobile tie-in, not a DLC skin in Dead by Daylight. An actual game where you play as or against Michael Myers. And finally, someone listened. Boss Team Games, the studio behind Evil Dead, the game, is handling this one, and they've teamed up with IllFonic to bring it to PS5 this coming September. It's an asymmetrical multiplayer horror game. One player controls Michael Myers himself, stalking survivors through Haddonfield. The other players try to escape. The trailer from September 2025 State of Play showed dynamic map features, believable NPCs, haunting visuals, the whole package. What's interesting is they're specifically adapting material from the original 1978 movie, not the whole franchise, which means they're focusing on what made Michael scary in the first place. Slow, methodical, unstoppable. The kind of pacing that makes you check over your shoulder in real life. I'm cautiously optimistic. Asymmetrical horror is hit or miss, but IllFonic has experience here. And if they nail the tension of knowing Michael could be anywhere while you're just trying to get the hell out of Haddonfield, that's a recipe for some genuinely terrifying nights on the couch. So coming in next, we have Ace Combat 8, Wings of Theve. Alright, arcade flight sim fans, this one's for you, because it's been 7 years since Ace Combat 7 and Bandai Namco finally announced the next entry at the Game Awards last year. Ace Combat 8 is coming to PS5 in 2026, and from what we've seen, they're not messing around. The trailer drops you straight into the cockpit of an elite fighter pilot, adrift at sea, rescued by an outdated aircraft carrier called the Endurance. Your homeland's navy is shattered. You're the underdog from minute one. The gameplay looks like classic Ace Combat. Dogfights, missile evasion, that superhero feeling of pulling off impossible maneuvers, but with production values cranked way up. Built on Unreal Engine 5 with proprietary tech, this is easily the most visually ambitious game in the series. What's got me excited is the more cinematic presentation. First-person perspectives where characters talk you through missions, a greater emphasis on story, and that sense of scale that only Ace Combat delivers. If you've never played one before, think Top Gun meets anime melodrama meets genuinely tight flight controls. And if you're already a fan, you've been waiting since 2019. 2026 is finally the year you take to the skies again. And next up, let's talk about Fable. This one's been a roller coaster. Announced way back in 2020, originally slated for 2025, then delayed to 2026, and now officially set for February 2027. But here's the twist that makes this PS5 news. Fable is launching day and date on PlayStation 5, the franchise's debut on a Sony system. That felt unthinkable a few years ago. Playground Games, the studio behind Forza Horizon, is developing this reboot. And the delay? Microsoft basically admitted they're moving it to avoid getting crushed by GTA 6. Fair enough. If you're launching an open-world RPG in late 2026, you do not want to be anywhere near that freight train. So February 2027 it is. What do we actually know? Not a ton. The trailers have shown a world that looks quintessentially British. Rolling hills, quaint villages, that specific flavor of fantasy humor the series is known for. And importantly, they've kept the moral choice system that made the original Fable game so memorable. You can be a hero, you can be a villain, or you can just be kind of a jerk for no reason. The choice is yours, and the game lets you live with the consequences. We're supposed to get a major new look at the Xbox showcase in June 2026, so hopefully by the time you're watching this, we'll have way more answers. Either way, the fact that this is coming to PS5 at all is kind of wild. And next on the list, it's the Untitled John Wick game. Keanu Reeves, Saber Interactive, Lionsgate, Chad Stahelski. That's the lineup. Announced during the State of Play earlier this year, this Untitled John Wick game is shaping up to be something special. Keanu is reprising his role as the legendary hitman, and the game features an original script set within the John Wick timeline, years before The Impossible Task. Release date? Still to be determined. Most speculation points to 2027, maybe even 2028. But Saber doesn't usually let announcements linger forever without movement, so I wouldn't be shocked if we get a firmer date by the end of 2026. The big question is combat. John Wick is defined by its gun fu, the seamless blend of martial arts and shooting. Saber has experience with action combat from games like Evil Dead and World War Z, but this needs to feel different, fluid, brutal, almost choreographed. If they pull it off, this could be the definitive movie-to-game adaptation in years. If they mess it up, people will be upset in a way that transcends normal gaming discourse. John Wick is beloved. The expectations are through the roof. It's coming to PS5, PC, and Xbox Series X/S, so nobody's getting locked out. And honestly, I just want to see what a next-gen John Wick game looks like when the combat system is built from the ground up for that specific fantasy. There's so much potential here. So next up, we have Lords of the Fallen 2. You know, the first Lords of the Fallen reboot from 2023 was a pleasant surprise. A Souls-like with a clever light and dark, world-shifting mechanic that actually worked. Now CI Games is back with the sequel, slated for 2026 on PS5, and the early footage looks brutal in the best way. Built on Unreal Engine 5, Lords of the Fallen 2 is doubling down on what made the first one interesting. The Umbral Realm is back, that dark parallel dimension where death isn't the end, it's just the beginning of a more dangerous fight. But they're evolving it. The CEO recently teased an entirely new combat feature never before seen in a Souls-like. No details yet, but that's the kind of promise that gets my attention. The devs have also been pretty open about not following external political trends, their words, which basically means they're focused on making a proper Souls-like without watering anything down. Dark fantasy, challenging combat, rewarding exploration. No concessions. Rumors point to an August 2026 release window, which would put it ahead of the holiday rush. If you liked the 2023 game, this seems like more of that, but bigger, meaner, and better looking. And if you bounced off the original because it felt a little janky, maybe give this one a chance. CI Games has had years to refine their approach. Now coming in next, it's Kingdom Hearts 4. Oh boy, where do we even start with this one? Announced in April 2022, it is now 2026, and we have seen almost nothing since. A few screenshots, some vague promises. That's it. Square Enix has been radio silent for years, and fans are getting genuinely frustrated. The last meaningful update was a batch of screenshots in May 2025, which ended a 3-year drought. Director Tetsuya Nomura recently hinted that fresh news might come around to the franchise's 25th anniversary in March 2027. That would be 5 years between the announcement and any substantial information. 5 years. Rumors suggest the game was internally delayed from 2026 to the third quarter of 2027 to improve quality. If that's true, it's probably for the best. Kingdom Hearts 3 had a famously long development cycle, and fans still had mixed feelings about it. Giving Nomura and the team more time to get this right is not a bad thing. What do we actually know? Sora is in a new world called Quadratum, which looks like a realistic Tokyo. The combat is evolving, Disney worlds are supposedly bigger and more detailed than ever, and there are persistent rumors about Marvel and Star Wars finally making their way into Kingdom Hearts, which would be absolutely insane, if true. But for now, we wait, and wait, and wait some more. The hype is still there. Kingdom Hearts fans are nothing if not patient. But man, Square Enix is testing everyone. And next up, we have Onimusha Way of the Sword. Capcom bringing Onimusha back after nearly 2 decades is not something I had on my bingo card. But here we are. Onimusha Way of the Sword is the first new mainline entry in the series since 2006, and it's coming to PS5 in 2026. For those who don't know, Onimusha was Capcom's answer to survival horror with samurai. Think Resident Evil meets feudal Japan. You play as legendary swordsman Miyamoto Musashi, wielding the Oni gauntlet to slash through demonic Genma forces. The combat has always been about timing, precision, and style, parries, counters, devastating special moves. Insider reports confirm the game remains on track for 2026, despite Capcom not revealing a precise release date yet. That's encouraging. Capcom's been on an absolute tear lately with Resident Evil remakes, Street Fighter VI, Dragon's Dogma 2. Their quality control is arguably the best it's ever been, so the fact that they're reviving a dormant franchise like Onimusha suggests they have real confidence in what they're building. Gameplay footage shows Musashi using multiple weapons, katana, spear, in fluid, bloody brawls against supernatural enemies. It's fast, it's brutal, and it's exactly what old-school Onimusha fans have been begging for. If Capcom nails this, Way of the Sword could be one of the surprise hits of 2026. Now next on the list, it's Tomb Raider Catalyst. So Lara Croft is back, and this time she's heading to Northern India. Announced at the Game Awards 2025, Tomb Raider Catalyst is the next mainline entry in the nearly 30-year-old franchise, scheduled for 2027 on PS5, PC, and Xbox Series X and S. Here's the setup. A mythical cataclysm has unleashed ancient secrets and awakened mysterious guardian forces across northern India. Lara finds herself in the middle of it, doing what Lara does best, climbing things she shouldn't be able to climb, shooting things that deserve to be shot, and uncovering lost civilizations along the way. What's interesting is the team behind it. Crystal Dynamics is developing, but Amazon Game Studios is publishing. That's a significant shift. This is a big-budget, open-world action-adventure with vertically rich platforming and seamless wilderness exploration. The trailer showed a more confident, experienced Lara, not the origin story survivor from the 2013 reboot, but not the campy dual pistols icon from the 90s either. Somewhere in between. They're also releasing Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, a modern remake of the original 1996 game in 2026 as a warm-up, so you can revisit the classic before diving into the new adventure. Smart move. And honestly, it's been too long since we had a proper Tomb Raider game. The last one was Shadow of the Tomb Raider in 2018. 7 years between entries is crazy. I'm ready to grab the dual pistols again. And next up we have Exodus. So do you still remember Mass Effect, the original trilogy? The sense of discovery, the tough moral choices, the galaxy-spanning politics. Exodus wants to recapture that. Developed by Archetype Entertainment, a studio founded by former BioWare devs, including Mass Effect writer Drew Karpyshyn, Exodus is shaping up to be the spiritual successor we've been waiting for. Oh, and Matthew McConaughey plays a pivotal character in the story. That's not a gimmick. He's actually in it. Revealed with a stunning new trailer at the Game Awards 2025, Exodus is set 40,000 years in the future. Humanity is scattered across the galaxy, facing an existential threat from a mysterious alien force called the Celestials. You play as a traveler, someone who can manipulate time dilation to experience years in what feels like days, allowing you to witness the long-term consequences of your choices. That time-warping mechanic is the hook. Your decisions don't just affect the immediate situation, they ripple across generations. Help one faction now, and their descendants might be your enemies later. It's ambitious, maybe too ambitious, but with former BioWare leadership at the helm, and McConaughey lending his gravitas, Exodus has a real chance to recapture that magic. Release is set for early 2027 on PS5, PC, and Xbox Series X/S. If you loved Mass Effect and have been hungry for something similar, this should be near the top of your watch list. Coming in next, we have Forza Horizon 6. Yes, the Xbox and PC exclusive franchise game. And yeah, this one's a little complicated. Forza Horizon 6 is now available on Xbox Series and PC. The PS5 version comes later in the same year, so PlayStation players will have to wait a few extra months, but the fact that it's coming at all is huge. Forza Horizon is widely considered the best open-world racing series on the market. Better than Need for Speed, better than The Crew, maybe even better than Gran Turismo if you prefer arcade handling to simulation. And now, for the first time ever, a mainline Forza Horizon game is officially confirmed for PlayStation the same year as it launched on Xbox and PC. The setting is Japan. Fans have been asking for a Japan-set Horizon game for years, and Playground Games finally delivered the announcement at Tokyo Game Show 2025. drifting through neon-lit city streets, racing through cherry blossom forests, mountain passes, coastal highways. It's the dream location. Cross-saves are fully supported across all platforms, so you can switch between Xbox and PS5 without losing progress. The PS5 version will have full optimization, including PS5 Pro support. If you've never played a Forza Horizon game before, here's the pitch. It's a festival, a celebration of cars, music, and freedom. You can drive anything from a vintage rally car to a ridiculous monster truck. The map is massive and packed with things to do, and the handling is accessible enough for beginners, but deep enough for enthusiasts. When the PS5 version drops later in 2026, do yourself a favor and pick it up. You won't regret it. And next up, we have Phantom Blade Zero. This is the one. If you've been following PlayStation showcases for the last few years, you've probably seen Phantom Blade Zero pop up. Dark fantasy, kung fu combat, steampunk aesthetics. It's been on wish lists forever, and now we finally have a date. September 9th, 2026, exclusively on PS5 and PC. And here's the thing. It's a PS5 console exclusive for at least 12 months before it can appear on other consoles, so PlayStation players get first dibs. Phantom Blade Zero is developed by Chinese studio S-Game, and it's built on Unreal Engine 5. The combat is fast, fluid, and brutal. Think Devil May Cry meets Sekiro with a wuxia flavor. Dual weapons, parry mechanics, special moves called Phantom Edges that let you teleport around enemies. It looks like a ballet of violence, and early previews from people who've gone hands-on have been overwhelmingly positive. The story is about 30 hours long, which feels right for this type of game. Not so short that you feel cheated, not so bloated that it overstays its welcome. The team has already passed 1 million wish lists, which tells you everything about the level of anticipation. Comparisons to Black Myth Wukong are inevitable. Another Chinese-developed action game, another Unreal Engine 5 showcase, another cultural moment waiting to happen. If Phantom Blade Zero delivers on its promise, it could be one of the biggest games of 2026, full stop. Now, next on the list, it's Marvel's Wolverine. You know, Insomniac Games has already proven they can handle Spider-Man. Now they're taking on Wolverine, and from what we've seen, they're going in a very different direction. This isn't a lighthearted web-swinging adventure. This is dark, brutal, violent in a way that feels earned, and it's been confirmed that it will be available in September 15th this year, exclusively on PS5. Sony has decided to keep this one locked to their ecosystem, unlike some of their PC ports later down the line. The gameplay trailer from last year showed Logan doing what Logan does best, using his adamantium claws to absolutely shred enemies. The combat looks heavier than Spider-Man, more deliberate. There's a berserker rage mechanic that builds as you fight, unlocking more devastating attacks. Finishers are visceral and unflinching. What's interesting is the story. This is an original take on Wolverine, not tied to any specific movie or comic run. Insomniac has creative freedom to explore Logan's past, his relationships, his rage. The trailer hinted at a more mature, character-driven narrative, which makes sense. Wolverine isn't Spider-Man. You can't do quippy one-liners while ripping someone apart. Sony is planning a major showcase this June where Wolverine will reportedly be the centerpiece, with extended gameplay and new details. So by the time you are watching this, we might know a whole lot more. If Insomniac pulls this off, they'll have 3 home runs in a row. Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, and now Wolverine. That's an insane track record. No pressure, guys. But coming in next, we have The Witcher 4. Alright, let's talk about the game that might actually challenge Grand Theft Auto 6 for most anticipated, and this time, Geralt is not the main character. Ciri is stepping into the spotlight, and everything we've heard suggests she's going to play very differently from her adoptive father. More agile, more expressive, capable of using magic while moving, which Geralt never could. The devs have said they're using advanced tech to make Ciri's facial animations and body language far more dynamic, to really sell the emotional moments. A tech demo shown in 2025 ran on a base PS5, achieving 60 FPS with ray tracing enabled. That's promising. The team at CD Projekt learned hard lessons from Cyberpunk 2077's disastrous launch. They've spent years rebuilding their reputation. They are not going to rush this, and that's why there's no release date yet. The earliest we're looking at is 2027, maybe later. CD Projekt has over 900 developers total, with 499 actively working on The Witcher 4. That's a massive team. But they've said repeatedly that they'll release the game when it's ready. The story picks up after The Witcher 3, following Ciri on her own path as a full-fledged Witcher. She can dive underwater now, which is random but cool. She has a lot more movement animations compared to Geralt's more limited set. She's faster, more versatile, and honestly, after spending hundreds of hours with Geralt, I'm ready for a change. This is one of those games where the hype is so massive that it's almost impossible to live up to expectations. But if anyone can do it, it's CD Projekt, assuming they learned their lesson. And finally, we have Grand Theft Auto 6. Of course it's number one. What else could it be? Grand Theft Auto 6 is the most anticipated game in history. Not hyperbole. The budget alone is reportedly between 1.5 and 2 billion. $2 billion. That's more than some countries' GDP. Release date, November 19th, 2026 on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. The game was originally planned for fall 2025, then delayed to May 2026, then finally to November. Rockstar has taken an extra 18 months of development time past the original window. And honestly, after the way GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 launched, I'd rather they take the time. The second trailer is confirmed to be captured entirely on a PS5, with equal parts gameplay and cutscenes. Marketing is supposed to kick off summer 2026, so by the time you're watching this, we might have already seen way more. What do we actually know? The game follows two protagonists, a Bonnie and Clyde-style couple named Lucia and Jason. It's set in Vice City and the surrounding state of Leonida, basically a satirical take on modern Florida. That means swamps, beaches, theme parks, and all the chaos you'd expect. The map is reportedly massive. The level of detail is reportedly insane. The physics, the NPC behavior, the sheer density of things to do, Rockstar is trying to push the open world genre forward again, the same way they did with GTA 5 and RDR2. Here's the thing, expectations are so high that no matter how good GTA 6 is, some people will be disappointed. That's just the reality of a decade of waiting. But based on Rockstar's track record, I'm betting they deliver. Again, it's coming this November. Mark your calendars, clear your schedule, call in sick, whatever you need to do. Because when GTA 6 drops, the rest of the world is going on hold. But yeah, that's all for today. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now is a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos from time to time, and the best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. So click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.